Hi, welcome to PM Personality Profile. My name is Jennifer Jane Asante, and I'm sure you're wondering what I'm doing here. Well, I decided to pay a visit to Sinel Specialist Hospital and have a quick chat with Dr. Michael McCarthy, see what he's made of. This isn't your average hospital. I mean, it has a gym, a Zen garden, and there's a shop right here. Weird elements in a hospital, I know, but then he is an interesting man. If you want to know what I mean, come with me. Welcome back to PM Express. Now, I did tell you I was in a hospital and we were going to talk to a doctor. If you didn't believe me, I have proof. The doctor's in the house.
Hello.
I'm talking with Dr. Michael McCarthy and just going to find out how he became Dr. Michael McCarthy.
Exactly.
So welcome to PM Express.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Thank you for coming on. So, the hospital isn't what you would expect from a hospital. I mean, this is a Zen garden right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
That tells me you are a very unusual doctor. So, let's start from the very beginning and see if I can figure you out. Were you born here?
Well, I wasn't born in this hospital, though some of my patients were born in this hospital.
Okay.
That's very interesting. I was born in Switzerland,
All right.
where my dad was training. He had completed his training at the time. And we moved to Ghana when I was 7.
Okay.
And so I basically grew up in Ghana, specifically in Tamale.
Oh.
Yes. Where I spent my, we call them formative years. But those were the interesting times of one's life. Basically primary school, you know, and growing up, figuring things out. And
Did you
having a
pick up
wonderful time.
any of the languages from the northern region?
No, not fluently.
Okay.
I probably, that was the time I learned English.
Ah.
So that was a learning curve for me for English.
Okay.
Yes.
So, wait, that was when you learnt English. So what were you speaking before?
German.
German. Oh, so you speak English and German.
Exactly.
What
Swiss
else do you
German
speak?
specifically.
Swiss German.
Yes.
What else do you speak?
Part of the local language that I need for my work. I worked in Tamale again after completing my medical education.
Okay.
And so learned the parts of the language that I needed to survive as a doctor in that environment. Of course, and here also,
Right.
tree and so on.
Okay.
I can survive quite well in my consulting room only.
Right. So you were in Tamale in your formative years, and then you
Yes.
moved around Ghana, or
Not
straight
much,
to Accra?
not much. Then we moved to Tema
Okay.
because my dad started Sinel Specialist Hospital in '81.
Okay.
And that was the time we had just completed primary school and went into secondary school. And so from then on, we spent the rest of our time in Tema.
So you went to school here in Tema?
No, I went to Achimota.
You went to Ashmota?
Yes.
Ah,
Achimota School.
I see. So
Yes.
you're in Accra?
Basically, so yes, living in Tema, but not really
In Tema?
having the full flavor of Tema.
Ah.
You know, because most of the time was spent in boarding school. So I'll say my formative years were in Tamale and in Achimota School.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's where you decided to become a doctor, or you decided that way before?
I think I decided to be a doctor when it came to making the choice, well, what does one do?
Okay.
I'm probably not one of those who have wanted to be a doctor all along. I've not given it that kind of attention over my formative years. But I believe it was probably quite normal to opt to become a doctor because my dad was a doctor, fantastic
Yeah.
gynecologist, still is. You know, and so that was what I saw. And
Okay.
so when it came to choosing what to do after Achimota, I think it was not too difficult.
All right.
Yes.
So Were you an only child? I don't think I've heard you mention a sibling yet.
I have two siblings.
Okay.
Two sisters, one older and one younger.
Oh, so you're sandwiched in between?
Yes, it's a fantastic experience. I enjoy them so much.
Okay, you're close then?
Very close, yes.
Right.
Yes.
How often do you see your sisters?
Not very often. My younger sister is in Germany.
Okay.
Married with her husband in Germany. She has 3 kids. Yes, like me. Wonderful children. And my older sister is in Sweden, also with her husband in Sweden with 2 children.
Okay, so you're the only one here in Ghana?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I guess that makes you really close to your dad then?
Exactly. Yes. I enjoy Ghana. I think Ghana is home, and Ghana is what we have known all these years. And this is where I've chosen to practice medicine and to be useful. Yes.
You say you chose to become a doctor basically because, well, you had seen your dad in action and it was what you knew. You didn't feel pressured like you had to carry on the family business or something?
Never. I never had pressure to become a doctor. It was probably just a natural choice for me.
Okay.
I enjoyed the subjects we did, and I was excited to apply to medical school. And so apply we did, had our interviews. At that time it was a bit different. The intake was direct into medical school.
Okay.
And so we passed those interviews and then straight into medical school. That again was a life-transforming experience because it kind of took one away from everything else. It was an intensive time of study, building relationships, and learning the trade, if I may say. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lately, there's been a lot of agitation with the GMA and then junior doctors specifically. Were things different when you were a house officer? I mean, it sounds like things are really bad for them now because they're complaining a lot. Is it that things have changed over the years, or you guys just sucked it up?
No, I think we had a lot of agitations in those years as well. There was a lot of complaining and talking and so on. And it's a similar thing to what is happening now, maybe in a different context, different political era and so on. But these things have been going on for quite some time. And it's not really new to the present. It's been there for a long time.
But how did you survive? I mean, some of the stories coming out, they say, oh, we've worked for 1.5 years and we haven't gotten any money. Was it the same for you? How did you manage?
Yes, there was also some delay in receiving salary. I think over the time it was partly solved. I don't know the exact problem now, but well, one was a student months before, and was able to kind of survive through that,
Okay.
And then we start our working life, not in the ideal conditions. So I must say it was tough, it was difficult, but I loved what I was doing, loved medicine, loved practicing medicine, so the waiting time for me was a time that I was doing what I loved to do, and so I enjoyed it.
But why gynecology? Anytime I walk into a hospital and they say, oh, the gynecologist is in, and I look up and I see a man, I always wonder, why? Why would a man want to practice gynecology? One would think that it would be the female doctors that would rush into that field for personal reasons. But why would a man want to do that?
I think we need to understand, there are a number of reasons why it is like that in Ghana. We need to understand that initially there were more men graduating from medical school. In my time, we had a lot of women graduating from medical school. But years before, most of the doctors graduating were male. And so the specialists were chosen from what was available. Now we have a lot more women doing medicine and graduating. And even now in our residency programs, we have a lot of women doing obstetrics and gynecology. So we are going to see a change over time, just because the demographics in medical school are also changing And so we have many more female doctors now. And so if you look, we are getting more female gynecologists. If you look into a country like the US, we had a similar pattern years ago where it was always men who were doing obstetrics and gynecology.
Yeah.
But now it has switched. And most of the residents, probably over 90% of residents in obstetrics and gynecology are female. And now a lot of the faculty in the universities are also female. So there's been that switch from almost 90% male before to now the men being a rarity. I won't be surprised if this happens here in Ghana as well over the next, I don't know how many years, but we can only guess, you know. But I believe that's also going to happen here, where we are going to have most gynecologists being female and then the minority being the male. But now the situation stands as it is. I think men make excellent gynecologists.
Right.
Men viewed women differently from the way women view women.
True.
Yes. And I think that difference for a number of women is a positive experience.
Okay.
You know, we are able to, I believe, empathize more, you know, try to fish out the issues more, and maybe even connect a little better to women. I think that, I think my patients are comfortable with me. Maybe not all of them. I hope all of them.
Well,
I think generally my patients are comfortable with me. I don't know whether they would have preferred me to be a female. I don't know. But I think they're comfortable with me most of the time. And we are able to get to talk about the real issues and that are bothering them, not just a complaint to come to hospital, but what is the real problem?
Yeah.
You know, getting into the real issues.
Yeah, because with women, it's never really what we say it is.
Exactly. You need to really understand. So what is the real problem? What is she really worried about? What is she really thinking about? It's not always obvious.
Yeah.
And that is why one needs to spend some more time sometimes with the women to understand them and to get to the bottom of things. Of course, always maintaining the professional aspect of it as well.
Okay. You haven't mentioned your mother so far.
She's a wonderful woman, Mrs. Nellie McCarthy. One of the inscriptions here, you probably see her name laying the foundation stone of this place. Yes. She's been wonderful.
Okay.
Has been with us since from beginning to now, you know, and we've enjoyed her so much. She's good.
Which of your parents was the stricter one?
I don't know. I think both of them.
Oh.
I think both of them. We're not troublesome children. You know, I think we're easy to get along with.
I see.
Maybe my dad.
Okay. I'll tell him you said so.
Sure.
Right. I'm going to take a quick break here. And when we come back, we'll talk about how you have changed things in the hospital. You said your dad started it, but I think I see quite a bit of you here.
Exactly.
So let's talk about that when we come back from the break. We're still at Sinel Specialist Hospital with Dr. Michael McCarthy, and during the break he took me around a little bit, so I got to see some of it, and I must say it's pretty impressive what you've done with the place.
Thank you.
So how much of it is your dad and how much of it is you?
It's difficult to decide which is what.
The apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
I think we've done a lot of work together.
Okay.
We are still working together. We're building on what he started, and he's still in the thick of things, in planning, in execution, in let's do it this way, let's go that way, and so on. So I think this is a mix of old and new, which has blended very nicely, I must say. Because most people find it difficult to work with their parents.
Yes, I
But
know.
I think we've been able to fight out a nice cooperation.
Okay.
You know, that really works very well. And we've been able to keep growing. I've been involved in the hospital for a long time, but it was in 2010, 1st January 2010, that I came here fully,
Okay.
doing full-time focus and concentration on the hospital. Yes, so since 2010, there have been a lot of changes since I started 2010. This building is over 20 years old.
Okay.
And so what we did was to look at the spaces, decide what alternative uses we could use the spaces for, added up new rooms, new functions of the various spaces and so on, you know, and did renovations of the various aspects of the hospital, our theater, our labor ward, our rooms, the outpatient department, you know, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Over the years, we also brought in new equipment for these various areas, ultrasound scan, theater equipment, labor ward, and so on. So a lot has changed, built on the backbone of what was there already.
Okay.
I must say, my dad had a lot of foresight. And so even in the architectural layout, there was space for expansion. You know,
Okay.
room to do something new, room to easily bring in changes and new ideas. You know, and I found that very fantastic. We've run out of space now, so as you can see, we have a new extension also.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sure we'll talk about that in a minute. So we've worked together very well, brought us from the point of being only a provider of women's health care to a provider that has women's health care, every aspect, plus pediatric care for children, that has a gym for pregnant women to
Yeah, I
exercise
saw that.
during
I'm
pregnancy.
Like, what kind of hospital has a gym?
Yes,
I'm
we need to look
thinking,
after
wow.
our patients well. It helps in labor. We use some of the equipment in labor, like the gym ball, which helps in cervical dilatation. You know, makes it a bit more comfortable. One can seem to be mobile, but is sitting. You know, helps to relieve back pain and so on. And then we have expanded into our dispensary, our upgraded laboratory, our MRI scanner.
Yeah,
This goes
I
on
heard
and on.
it was the first of its kind in
Yes.
West Africa or something like that.
Not West
What
Africa.
exactly does it do?
Okay, the MRI scanner is the first in Tema.
Okay.
I think this is a breakthrough for healthcare in Ghana because we don't have many MRI scanners in the country. An MRI scanner is a top-end equipment that images the inside of the body.
Okay.
Just imagine being able to see into your body more clearly than an X-ray could, and to actually see both the bone and the soft tissue. I believe you've seen an X-ray before.
Yeah.
Now, in an X-ray, what do you see? You see bones and you see spaces.
Yeah.
Isn't it? And you are just assuming that, well, there's something in between the spaces. There must be.
Well, yeah. It'd be pretty weird if there wasn't.
But the MRI shows the bones and shows what is in between.
So an MRI is kind of like an internal selfie.
Well, that's a brilliant explanation of it, or
Okay.
description. An internal selfie, maybe, yes. Yes, yes. It shows clearly, it shows the bones, it shows muscle, it shows fat, it shows blood vessels, it can show blood flow, it can show most of the organs in the body, you can see the nerves coming out of the spaces in the spine and so on.
And it's the first of its kind
In
in
Tema.
Tema.
Yes, it's the first in Tema.
Wow.
So we no more need to travel to Accra.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Self-sufficient. So yeah, that's a breakthrough for patients in Tema.
Okay.
You may need this urgently, and you have access to it, not just in Tema, the whole of eastern part of Ghana. You know, we need to make things better.
Yeah.
For me, I always say we need to make things better for our women, but for the whole population, the MRI can be used for
Men and women, children too.
Yes, as well. You know, so we need to make things better, and that's what we are doing. We need to use our position and our area of advantage to make things better and to improve health services in the country.
Okay. Most people don't like going to hospitals because hospitals are, well, drab, dreary places, and you're in your room, and if you hear noise, it's probably the orderly passing by or a nurse coming in, or you do hear a lot of noise because it's in a noisy place and there's construction going on around and people are moving up and down. So you don't really get the rest that you need. So it's either you're totally bored or you're restless. But I see you've got a nice balance going here. I mean, it's not too quiet. And then you've got this beautiful Zen garden up here, and I'm thinking, oh, I could stay here forever, you know, just give me a good book, and I'll be here all day. What made you come up with this idea?
Well, this is not my idea.
Oh, wow.
I had a different idea till I shared my idea with my friend, architect Adebi, Samuel Adebi. And he says, no, I have a better idea for you.
All right.
You know. And so he designed this. He just got the concept. He saw it in his mind's eye. You know how architects are. They are artists. They can see. You know, they are like prophets.
They see something and they're telling you, you're like, okay, but you have no idea what they're
so
talking
Samuel
about.
saw this and he said, I'll do something for you. And this is what he did. I love it so much. I think it just fits into what we want to do, to give that environment that helps you to recover.
Yeah.
Because it's never easy to recover from surgery, even delivery, you know. So if you have a nice environment that is well thought out, that gives you space, that gives you light, that gives you life,
Yeah.
you know, it helps to
The way you're talking,
recover.
it gives me the impression that you have a holistic approach to healthcare.
Yes, yes. Yes, we need to address all areas of a person. Especially for me, I deal with women, and women are special. For a woman, everything is interlinked. Everything is interlinked. So her experience here, her delivery, her quest for a child, her medical condition, her experience with the nurse, the orderly, the environment, everything is linked. And so we need to be able to address them at all fronts, so that, you know, they have a good experience and they may want to come back early so that we can solve the problems early.
But medicine isn't the only finger you have the only pie you have your finger in. You have a school. You run that with your wife, or
My wife
she does
runs
that all by herself?
Well, yeah, she does 99% of the work. And I do 1%, but I still
you
take 50%
show up on the
credit.
important days.
Yes, I do have run the school with my wife, Mrs. Georgette McCarthy. Wonderful woman. She runs this daily. It's a school from preschool to secondary school. This year is actually our 10th anniversary.
Oh.
Yes, yes. It's been a wonderful 10 years working with her. It's called Vine Christian School.
Okay.
Focus is on educating children to have a holistic life.
There it is again.
not just having an education. We give them an excellent education.
I think you take it a step further than regular stuff. You have a robotics camp.
Yes, we have all sorts of things. We have a wonderful music department. We have wonderful language department. We have wonderful staff. Our staff are just fantastic. You know, they care about the children. They are excited about what they are doing and so on. And we make sure that we impart some of the Christian principles, you know, in the way we discipline, in the way we teach.
Sounds like it's very involving for your wife.
Yes,
and
it
with
is.
you being so involved here, what is it like as a family for you? You say you have three?
I have three wonderful girls.
Oh, all girls?
They're all special.
No wonder you're here.
The oldest is 14
Okay.
this year, and the second is 10, and the last one is 4.5. Yes. So, I believe you understand what's going on. They're just wonderful. They're all different. Wonderful girls. I love it that I have only girls.
Okay.
So I come to work, I meet my women, be they patients or staff. I have my women at home.
What is it like having so many women in your life? I
don't know.
You have your wife, you have your daughters, you have female
sisters.
staff. Oh, look, you have your sisters,
yes.
your mother, female staff, and then female patients.
Yes.
Patients can take up a lot of your time.
Yes.
Especially the ones, well, who can confuse healthcare with something a little more personal. How do you manage all of that?
It's not easy. It's planning and using time wisely and apportioning different days for different things and so on, you know. And but as I said, working with women is nice.
Okay.
Because they are so diverse, they are so different, and they are always concerned about, you know, issues. And so I think I'm a people person. I want to get involved in another person's life, you know. And so it kind of comes natural to me to be able to, you know, be involved and talk about things and get to the root cause of issues, you know. Yes.
I understand you also do a bit of marriage counseling.
Yes, my wife and I do marriage counseling at Accra Church. And that's also a wonderful ministry. Our principle is that our ministries should be together as much as possible.
Okay.
And so our prayer is that whatever God will give us to do, we should be able to do it together. So, and that's part of the time management. So that even in ministry, you know, we have that synergy, working together and praying together about the issues and actually spending the time together, so that the time we have that we do our separate things, you know, is compensated for.
Okay.
You know, when we do things together. Yes. I think marriage counseling is important, you know, because at the end of the day, what are the important relationships in life? Marriage was the first institution that God created, you know, and at the end of your life, you suddenly realize that the most important thing about you is your marriage and your children, your generation, you know. So if that is not working well, then that's the worst thing that could happen to you. So I think that we need to have strong marriages, which will create strong families, and then we create children that are able to function normally and properly in society. We can change our society if we change our families.
We can change our society if we change our families. You really believe that?
Yes. Because a lot of the way we behave is from where we are from.
Okay.
Yes. What we learned as children, what we saw as children, not what they told us.
Yeah.
But what we saw,
things.
what we experienced, it really shapes you. I mean, look back 20 years in your life. Look at those that had a home like yours. And look at those that had the opposite. And see where they are now. And you will usually see a difference. Yeah. So home is important, very important. It may not be a biological home, you know, but where you grew up, who you grew up with, the environment, what you learn, what you see is what becomes reality to you.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. You write as well. I don't know how you managed to do all of this, but you write as well.
Yes.
What do you write on?
Well, so far, I've published 2 books together with my dad. Okay. They are more, they are patient education books to teach about common gynecological problems. And one of the challenges we have in our population is lack of knowledge. You know, people don't understand some of the medical issues that are going on with them. And sometimes even the normal things that are going on with them, they don't understand. And so they turn and twist them into all sorts of directions, you know, and then people get exploited. Our first book is on uterine fibroids.
Okay.
You know, explaining what they are, explaining the effects, various forms of proven treatments and outcomes, and what to do with fibroids in pregnancy and so on.
Sort of demystifying everything.
The problem.
Right.
You know, and bringing it to light, giving people a clearer insight into what, from the professional point of view, fibroids really are. You know, so they can understand, they can take decisions for themselves. You know, it's very interesting. The woman comes in, she has uterine fibroids, very agitated, not sure what's going to happen, very disappointed, very alarmed. She wants to take 2 hours to discuss the issue with you. You give her the book. She goes to read it, comes back in a week or two. Some read it overnight. You know, comes back, a completely changed woman. Now asks 2 or 3 pointed questions. So, which kind of fibroid do I have? How do you think I should treat this? What is the outcome going to be at the end of the day? Period. Very well informed, understands what is going on, ready to cooperate, you know, just because of education. So that's our first book.
Okay.
All right, and that addresses that issue. Our second book is on menstruation.
I know a lot of people who are hiding their eyes right now.
Menstruation is so common. All women, let's say most women, at some point in their lives, menstruate, but nobody's talking about it.
Yeah.
Because it's a very private part of oneself. It's very personal, you know, and people don't want to talk about it. Even when they have problems, they kind of manage with the problems until it gets too much.
But did you think it's a cultural thing?
Yes, partly cultural. It's partly cultural. I mean, culturally, there are a lot of different names by which menstruation is called. You know? If you don't know what they are referring to,
I have no idea what they're talking about.
Mebu Minsa.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what that meant a while ago, you know. And so that's what she came with. And I was wondering, I mean, I think I was a medical student at the time. And I was wondering, I mean, what's going on? I mean, I don't see any...
I'm broken.
Yeah, I mean, you know. But this just tells you that we try to cloak the issue of menstruation in something else so that it's not too obvious and we don't have to face it, you know. But it's a problem. There are a lot of problems. There are a lot of things that are not going well. And also, a lot of people have normal menses and they think they have a problem because they assume that normal should be something which they have been taught.
Right.
You know, and so the book seeks to also demystify menstruation, give clear ideas about how much blood loss is normal, how many days of bleeding is normal, when should one start having the menses and so on. You know, so the again gives education, gives information, and makes sure that women understand a bit better what is going on with them. And we also write about what to look out for, which is a problem, how much bleeding is abnormal, you know, so that they can start to
they know when to panic and when not
when
to.
they need to come in, and when really something needs to be done.
Sounds like you're a very busy person.
Yes.
I need to find out if you have any free time, but I think I'll do that when we come back from the break. Dr. Michael McCarthy is a very busy man, running the hospital, helping his wife with the school, marriage counseling. He has 3 daughters. It's too much. Plus, he writes books. Does he have any free time? Do you have any free time?
Well, we all have the same amount of time. Everybody has 24 hours. Sometimes you wish God would give you an extra hour.
Sometimes I want an extra 24.
An extra 24. Yes, you may be granted that. Not much free time.
Okay.
And the time is always spent doing something. I think that's how it should be. One should always be doing something.
But do you do anything that relaxes you?
Spend time with my family.
Okay, so what sort of things do you do relaxing? You still do the beach on Sundays?
No.
Okay.
No, we don't do beach. Spend time together, talk, play games, and discuss issues, go to places, have fun with my girls. My girls love fun, all of them.
But do you do anything for just you?
I read a lot.
Okay.
I love reading.
What kind of books do you read?
Oh, all sorts of books. All sorts of books. My last book was... I've forgotten. Let me remember, then you start again. This year I've read 3 books or 4 books. I was going to mention one that I've forgotten.
What genre?
Oh, usually Christian books.
Okay.
General books, books of marriage.
Do you read fiction?
Not much. Not much. No time. Always something serious,
Do you watch movies? We're back on. Do you watch movies?
Yes, not much. Not many movies. I prefer documentaries.
Okay.
On various things. I find documentaries very engaging.
So you're always learning then, and learning relaxes you. That's the sense I'm getting from you.
I think so. Yes, always something new, something interesting, that you can probe into, that you can understand, that you can get something positive out of. I read a lot of Christian literature.
Okay.
Books on marriage.
Okay, well,
yes.
You're a marriage counselor, you have to.
Fantastic. Yeah, books on marriage are very interesting. You should read the book, The 5 Love Languages. I don't know whether you've read that.
I have that in my library.
Good, that's very good for marriage. And also for parenting.
Yeah.
Yes, because then you understand what love means to children. Very, very, very important. Yeah.
When was the last time you did something silly?
Oh, I'm always serious.
You see, that laugh is giving you away.
I think I'm always serious in my approach to things. I think sometimes I'm a bit too focused and serious about, always being, it must be something important, But we have fun. We have fun at home with my family, a lot of fun.
Do you do any sports?
Not as much as I should. We used to swim. I used to play tennis.
Oh.
Yes. So maybe.
So did you watch Wimbledon?
No, I was working in the labor ward. Now, this is the problem. I spend a lot of time working because in my line of work, it's not very well structured.
Yeah, I mean...
Problems come in at 2 a.m.
Babies don't tell you,
Anytime.
I'll come in at 3 so you can plan the rest of your day.
Yeah. I think I find that exciting. I think I find that interesting.
Okay.
It keeps me... Maybe that's why I chose obstetrics and gynecology, because it's a mixture of the quiet and cool and of the emergency and exciting aspect, There's surgery, has medical aspects of it, and it's all very interesting and active, not boring at all.
Is it all you thought it would be?
More.
Okay.
More. I'll share a short story. I always imagined fibroids to be these monsters,
Okay.
Because the name alone sounds very scary, But now I've found, and I think that's how a lot of women see them.
Yeah.
But now I've found that these are quite interesting problems that have solution, And this is one of the things I want to do in future. One of my visions is to bring better solutions for uterine fibroids, so that we don't have to do surgery for everybody. there should be ways of doing this without surgery.
And women all over the world are cheering right now.
Yes, solutions are available. We just need to make sure that they're accessible. So that's one of the things I'm looking at, to make accessible, scientifically proven, proper ways of managing fibroids, either non-surgically or with minimum invasion. You know, and then we can really solve the fibroid problem, because the issues of fibroid, they range from social issues to marital issues to health issues to work issues. Yes, I mean, marriages have broken because of fibroids, you know, and people's dreams are shattered because of fibroids. So we need to address them, and we need to solve them, and we need to be very proactive in bringing a whole variety of solutions to the table, so that women have an option as to
what
how,
to do.
yes, they will have their fibroids managed and treated properly and correctly. I think we need to move away from just doing something because people claim it works. We need to start doing things that actually have been proven to work, so that we can give a real solution to this problem.
Have you ever lost a patient?
Yes.
How did you feel?
Losing a patient is the worst thing that could happen to any doctor. It doesn't matter why the patient was lost, but it's the worst thing, because the reason we work is to make sure that we bring a person back from a state of ill health to a state of perfect or near perfect health.
Yeah.
And if it goes in the opposite direction, that is the worst blow that anybody could have, let alone the blow that it gives to the family of a person that dies from any kind of medical condition. Unfortunately, once you've chosen to be a doctor, you are going to work with people who will eventually die.
How do you break the news to the family?
It's never easy. One can never get used to it from my point of view. I don't think I can ever get used to breaking such news. So each experience is something new again all over. Anytime it happens. Fortunately, it doesn't happen often. And by God's grace, we are praying that we'll not get many more such experiences.
How do you recover from it yourself?
It takes time. Sometimes it can take years to recover from the loss of a patient. I still remember a patient I lost who was lost. She wasn't treated here at the end of the time when she was lost. She went somewhere else for her surgery. Okay. But we had told her that this was going to be very difficult and complicated, and so let's do something else now, you know. But a few delays here and there, and went out somewhere else with a completely different story, you know, and unfortunately eventually passed on. I still see it as my loss, even though I was not directly involved in that loss. Yeah. But it's something that is still with me. It's something that I still think about. So what else could we have done, you know, to turn this an impossible situation around in a way that would not have lost that client? Okay. You know, so it takes a long time. One cannot just brush off the loss of a patient, no matter what the circumstances. Yes.
You have any regrets with the way your life has gone so far?
Not yet.
Not yet?
Yes.
Should I check with you in like 20 years or something?
Yes, I hope that I can accomplish and achieve all the things I want to do, okay. Both professionally for women's health, in 20 years to see women healthier and happier, being able to deal with difficult problems in a much easier way. I would like to see Vine Christian School continuing to be the best school in Africa. Okay. And impacting lives. I'd want to see our current children coming up in 20 years to give testimony of how useful the education in Vine Christian School was. It's just like what is happening in Sinel Specialist Hospital.
Yeah.
I have patients who were actually born in this hospital. Their mothers delivered them as babies here.
And now they are delivering their babies.
Yes, they come as the mothers coming to deliver their babies.
Yeah.
And that's interesting. It's like a generation, having faith and trust in the kind of healthcare that we have given over the past 35 years.
That makes you feel good, doesn't it?
It's fantastic. It's fantastic. I mean, to be able to do something and people appreciate it even 35 years down the line, that is awesome. That's wonderful. And then I'm also looking at making an impact in families through counseling, marriage counseling, other forms of counseling, to let us have families that will produce generations that will stand for the right things.
Looks like you have a long road ahead of you.
An interesting road.
An interesting road indeed.
Yes.
Do you see anything that you might need a bit of help with, challenges ahead of you?
I think everything that I do needs help. If you want to achieve something really big, you cannot do it alone.
Okay.
You need a team. You need other people to work with, to catch the vision, understand it, and run together with you. That's one of my prayers, to have a wonderful team. And I have wonderful teams. I mean, my Sinel team, we call ourselves Team Sinel, and it's a wonderful team. We talk about things, we address issues, and the motivation is fantastic. Same for Vine Christian School. We have a great team there, and that is working. For now, marriage counseling is myself and my wife.
Well, that's a team too.
That is a team, a fantastic team, a team of two. But I see it growing. I see it becoming something much bigger, and with a wider reach, and being more useful. Yes.
Okay. Well, I wish you well.
Thank you.
In your long, interesting journey ahead of you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Because it's been a long, interesting journey behind you, and maybe we will catch up with you in 20 years and find out what's happened in the time since now.
Yeah, that would be nice.
So thank you, Dr. Michael McCarthy, for coming on PM Personality Profile as our guest.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Great.
Great. And thank you for watching. This is PM Personality Profile. My name is Jennifer Jane Asante.